Hey everybody, welcome back to the vlog. Well, today I'm doing this video. I really want to do it, but it goes against everything that that I am about when it comes to my YouTube channel. I never wanted to become political because it's just not smart, and I believe that everyone has a right to vote for whoever they want. And I, but I did become political because now I have a 14-year-old daughter. She'll be 15 next month. And before you can snap your fingers, she's going to be in this world. And there's never been a time in American history that voting for president is going to be so important, and it will be in November, 6 months from now. Okay, so I am a Republican, and I deeply love our president, Trump, who's the real president. This other guy has done for everyone else, illegal people coming from all over the world, 11 million of them, also that he can turn them into voters. And look what it's done to our country, our cities, the city that I loved. I used to always love to, when people out, I live in California, when people would hear my accent, they would go right away, hey, where you from, Boston? No, you dumbass. But anyway, my New York accent, always was proud of it. I don't have too much to be proud of being from New York anymore. I mean, I was very proud of where I came from, which was the South Bronx. I was born and raised in the South Bronx and the North Bronx. But I'm going to be talking about the South Bronx today. It was a rough neighborhood when I was being brought up in the 60s. Predominantly Black and Puerto Rican. And it was just such an innocent time back then. And I want to talk also about my successes. Okay, and there's a reason I'm going to be talking about them. When I was a paid confidential informant, I set records. I put a lot of bad people away. You get a look at that book over there, you'll see what I did. And that book barely scratches the surface of what I was able to accomplish. And the things that I learned, both in being an informant and being in the business world, as I owned my own private investigative company for over 20 years. And I was the most sought after in the workers' compensation fraud investigation arena, working for 10 TPAs, which is a third-party administrators, doing workers' compensation for. I would go out there, and my work product, I crushed my competition. And why is that? Who was my competition? It was like the whatever people, radical. And like, anytime a man says what, when you're arguing with them, they go, whatever. But the only one that should be saying whatever is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed valley girl, 16 years old, not real men. So none of them, and there was plenty of other companies I competed with in business. None of them could get the results that I did. Time and time and time. And why? How did I get much more? Because I was aggressive, and I was everything that I learned. My whole soul, my whole being came from the Bronx, the South Bronx especially. I love the Bronx. I loved all the people in it. They made me what I am today. They made me the success that I am today. And I love the Bronx. So let me tell you something else. So there's a couple of things about me that I'm going to tell you people for the first time. I never really had the reason to talk about my personal life and what I went through as a young boy, going to Catholic schools. I went to St. Anne's School in the Bronx and St. Brendan's School, St. Brendan's first and St. Anne's. And I had dyslexia, and nobody knew about what that was. I had ADD, had all shit. And I was borderline illiterate. and I lived all of my adult life barely being able to spell on a third grade level. My reading wasn't too bad. I could get by with the reading, but spelling. And why? Because I had Dominican nuns that would beat me. I mean, in front of the class, they would beat me when I would come up to the board and I would have to spell something. I couldn't do it. And they just took it as I'm lazy, I'm not paying attention. And they would beat me. They would say, how do you want it? Up or down? With a 36-inch ruler or a pointer. Whack me and beat me. They fucking beat me because I was illiterate. So again, I went through all of that. I only went to the 8th grade. Then I joined the Marine Corps at age 14. I was able to fool the Marine Corps, not only about my age. I assumed another's identity, a guy by the name of Eugene Gilhooly. And my parents broke up and they didn't talk to each other. So it took me a year to join the Marine Corps because not only was I trying to impersonate this guy Eugene Gilhooly, but he was 5 years older than I was. And the ages of 14 and 19 is a big difference. You can tell. I mean, anybody, I'm gonna show you guys what I look like in Marine Corps boot camp. Now, you can take the uniform off and the cover, take that off. I was 14 years old when I got in there. Not only did I join the Marine Corps at 14 years old, I joined the Marine Corps at 14 and blind in one eye because I got shot in the eye with a BB gun. How did I do that? Really, I did a video on it. All of these accomplishments I did. Although I couldn't spell and I couldn't read very well, I still managed to fool the United States Marine Corps. I mean, I went down to a place called Fort Hamilton to take my physical, and I failed the physical. They marked me 3Y. Only under national emergency could they take me, thinking I was Eugene Gilhooly. I do know how to spell that name. It was a tough one. Gilhooley. Gilhooly. Fucking Eugene Gilhooly. But and I'm telling you these stories because it's going to come around. It's going to make what I'm saying happen. Make sense. I did that. I went to prison. You know, everything I have today, and I'm financially secured for the rest of my life. So is my daughter, and not by doing anything illegal either. My hard work in my business. I had a couple of lawsuits along the way that I did very well on, because of my knowledge of law. And so how did I do all of these amazing things? It's how I was brought up, how I learned by dealing with so many different people. The culture in the Bronx is a great place. It's the only place in New York City, the only one of the 5 boroughs that ain't on some island. I mean, we got ground under us. I mean, you could walk to Canada from the Bronx. You can't do that. You need a boat or a bridge if you live in any of the other 4 boroughs. The Bronx, especially the South Bronx, I owe everything. I look at everything. I look at my daughter. I look at everything. I look at my fancy cars, my house, everything that I own, I owe to the Bronx teaching me. I do. And that's enough about me. So I just wanted to let you guys know. Oh, and then the other thing okay, so now just like the Marine Corps, I got into the Marine Corps, even though I had that blind eye, I still beat them. Then I come to California, and the only thing I know how to do is catch people. Came out here, wanted to be a workers' compensation fraud investigator, and I worked for several companies, and I got a name for myself, and I had a whole bunch of clientels, and then it was time to go on my own. But how do I do that? I am a convicted felon like 3 times, I think. And I can't get a PI's license in California being a convicted felon. So how did I do it? I did it. I still did it. I got around everything. I did it. And how was I able to get around everything? Because my upbringing from the Bronx. And so, having said that, I tell you, when our president, Trump, went to the Bronx and stood before all those people, most of them Democrats, they're all Democrats, like blacks and most Latinos, they were all brainwashed by Democrats going back almost 100 years. New York City has always been Democrat, the whole state, the whole dumbasses, no more. And because when you look at the Trump rally in Katona Park, you're going to see people. They talk like me, fast. If they ask them a question, hey, why are you here? Why are you support Trump? With a big smile on their face. Big smile. You can tell how smart they are. They're all smart. But everybody, you don't see Biden. Biden will never go there, even though he's thinking, oh, they're all brainwashed into being Democrats and they're going to vote for no matter what candidate they put in front of them, even one that can't speak, even one that, I mean, what he did to this man. Let me go back to, I'm all over the place because this is a very passionate thing. I never wanted to do this. I never wanted to be political, but when I saw our president on the stage there in that park in the South Bronx, I so badly wanted to jump on a plane and go there. I just wanted to be there, clapping my hands and tell him how much I love him for everything he did. Now let's talk about something that I know firsthand. I know this firsthand. I know what it's like being indicted uh, in 5 jurisdictions, facing the rest of your life in jail. And that's what happened to me in 1974. You guys can go back and look how many times I got arrested working with Joey Bikini. Well, I mean, all bullshit stuff, but if you add that stuff up, plus I was on parole. I mean, so I know the pressure of having multiple court cases hanging over your felony indictments, hanging over your head. And what that means, the pressure. I know, I can't believe this man has skin of steel. He's what a real president. I mean, he's going to date, he is the greatest president to ever serve our country. When I say servant, he serves the people. He's a president. He's a president for the people, by the people, not like this guy. Let me say another thing. So I just turned 70 years old. I had to go down to DMV and I had to take a written test. I had to take a written test, and then we blinded one, and now I got to take a driving test. July 8th, I got to go back. My license is expired now to give me a temporary one, so I have to do all of that. Let me tell you something. The questions on that test, Joe Biden could not even get a driver's license in California. He wouldn't be able to take the cognizance test. They make you take at 70. He wouldn't be eligible to drive. Yet he's the leader of the free world. Are you kidding me, everyone? Are you kidding me? The guy's just a piece of crap. There's nothing good about him. He puts everybody else ahead of us. Illegal aliens all over the place. I heard that they're spending at least $9,000 for each one that comes to our country. And there's 11 to 15 million of them. Meanwhile, poor people from where I'm from in the Bronx, have to sacrifice benefits while they're giving them credit cards, cell phones, and everything else, free health care. Are you kidding? I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's going to be thrust into this society, and so I just wanted to say that that this president, just by all these phony, took his First Amendment rights away. He couldn't talk. They didn't televise his trial. The judge ruled every objection from the prosecution he sustained. I mean, I mean, a kangaroo court like you can't believe that's how afraid they are of losing power. Power. Um, I wish I was there in the Bronx to see this man's accomplishments. And listen, everybody knows what kind of president Donald Trump is going to be because he was already president. We already know what piece of shit Biden, what kind of presidency he is. And can you imagine him being a lame duck president, what he's going to do to us? I mean, I mean, everybody just think common sense. Think like you were raised in the Bronx. Because I know it's going to be a big ask, but I'm thinking he's going to flip New York. Anyway, I didn't want to be political, but I had to see my president in Katona Park with thousands of people all around him. I was just so proud of being from the Bronx. I love the Bronx. I love the people. And every chance I get when somebody's from California asks me, "Hey, where you from?" I was also raised in Queens too, the Bronx and Queens. My parents split up, but I was really raised as a big came up first grade, kindergarten in the Bronx, and all my friends were from the Bronx, and I love the Bronx. I love New York City. We need to get our city and our country back. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but um, vote, get out there and vote. Don't take it for granted that because you see all these crowds that we're going to win, because those Democrats are crooked. They're going to get mail-in ballot bullshit. Everybody should have ID. And another thing that they insult people from the not only the Bronx. So they're saying, oh, if we uh, want to have every voter show ID, it's going to hurt the black community. Like they don't have IDs. Just like Hochul, the governor of said that black students in the Bronx don't know what the word computer is. You stupid. They put you down. They want to, where the Democrats put us down, President Trump is lifting us up, giving us hope for real jobs, real everything. And this is not paid by Donald Trump, this video. I gotta go. I can't believe. I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but if I did, then maybe you deserve to be offended.